What's going on, y'all? How's everybody been doing? So I know it's been a minute since I put out a video for you guys. I'm sure a lot of y'all could probably figure that out. But for those who don't know, Safety called me. He told me flat out, like, listen, I like your videos. I like what you're doing, but the company doesn't want you doing that. Now, when I got hired on originally, there wasn't a policy. Like, I didn't see a policy that said anything about recording. I even talked to our social media department, and she was fine with it. But they say it's a gray area with the GoPro. I guess she said in the past they've had drivers do it. But one could argue that if I was to get in an accident, they could say that the camera was a distraction. Even though it's hands-free, and even though the GoPro was strapped around my head, they still said I can't do it. So I'm like, all right, it is what it is. No big deal. So I've been reading some of y'all's questions and emails since then, and a lot of those questions pertain to line haul. I had a few ask about P&D. One of y'all asked, will they hire me with the restriction? I think one of y'all asked about final mile. So let me just touch on those questions real quick. So basically, final mile are those box trucks that you see. From my understanding, you don't need a CDL to drive one of those. As far as will they hire you with a automatic restriction, I'm just going to tell you this: if you want to come over here, get it removed, because we still have manuals in the fleet. And honestly, it's just going to depend on that particular terminal. Like the terminal I ran out of, you cannot have a restriction on your license. I don't think any of the Atlanta terminals will hire you with the restriction. Now, if you go through the driver trainee program, if you're trying to get your CDL or whatever, even if you go that route, you're still going to have to get that restriction off, because they're going to test you at a manual. Like, even when I got hired on over here, my road test was in a manual. So my advice to you guys is, and my ladies out there, get that restriction taken off your CDL. Just get it removed. So as far as the line hauls, I know that's the most of my questions pertain to. And I know one of y'all had said you applied to Conley, which is our South Atlanta. One of y'all said y'all applied to Dallas. I think one person said they're trying to apply it to Nashville. Now, when you go on the career tab, yes, you're going to see positions. You're going to see P&D open. You're going to see line haul. Now, I know one of y'all was pretty excited. You said you applied, you're excited, and you hope you get a call back. Now, those of y'all that have been following me, y'all know I'm going to keep it real, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I don't want to bust your bubble, but it's a good chance those positions are already filled. Even when y'all see them online, they're probably already filled. I guess from my understanding, they still have to post it online, even if they already know who they want to hire. And when I tell you guys, this company is, I'm speaking on the company, let me just go ahead and say, I'm not a spokesperson for the company. I'm just a driver, stating my own views and opinions. So let's talk about it. So when I say they believe in hiring within, they really believe in hiring and promoting within. Meaning, if you see a line haul position, and currently, and I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but currently, in the P&D dispatch office, right on that window, there's a big sign that says 2 line haul positions opening. Contact such and such if you're interested. And what I'm getting at with that is those 2 positions are going to get filled by P&D. And that's usually the case for all these terminals. The only way you're getting in is if nobody from the city wants to transition over. Now, sometimes, guys, you may have to do stuff that you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. So there's a subscriber of mine that works out of the same terminal as me. He has, from my understanding, 8 years. He said he has 8 years of experience, but he's not a driver currently. He told me he really wanted to get in. He really wanted to get his foot in the door. So he went a different route. Now, me personally, I wouldn't have done that, but to each his own. So what he did was he took a freight handler. He took a freight handler. Yeah, am I saying that right? Freight handler position. Basically, he's a dock worker, y'all. He's a dock worker. He works on the inbound shift, and at the time, he was aware that there was a line haul spot open. I messaged him like, "Hey, there's a line haul spot open," and he said he already applied for it. And at the time, he only had 2 weeks with the company, so he didn't really know who to talk to. And since he got hired on, I always encouraged him, since he has a CDL, I always encouraged him, talk to P&D, talk to line haul, and let them know, that you have a CDL and that you want to go P&D, and that you want a driver position. That way, if a P&D spot opens up, they can keep you in mind, or if a line haul spot opens, they can keep you in mind. Now, of course, at that time, I didn't know that there was a waiting list for line haul, so I did everything I could to help him. I let my terminal manager know, like, hey, I don't know if the position's been filled yet, but there's a guy that already works for the company. He has 8 years, all his endorsements, can drive a manual. Maybe you should look into him, and just see where it goes. But nonetheless, he didn't get it because he was, from what he told me, too new to the company. Terminal manager wanted him to get some more experience with the company first. So that's how that played out. But again, if you want to go line haul, don't be afraid to start off in the city, because in a lot of cases, that's where you're going to start anyway before you get to pull the doubles over here. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, well, Trucker D, you didn't do P&D, so how did I get it? Well, I lucked out, not to mention I already had experience. I had like three and a half years experience doing doubles over at AAA Cooper, and on top of that, I had experience pulling doubles at FedEx Ground. So it's safe to say I have a thing for doubles. But anyway, he had called me, back before I was working. He told me it was filled, and I guess within that 2 weeks, something happened. Maybe somebody backed out, or the person that they were going to put on, it didn't fall through. So that's how I got it. So again, I lucked out. But again, don't be afraid to do P&D first. Now, I can't tell y'all how long it's gonna take. It could take you a few weeks, take you a few months, it could take you a few years. And that's just what it is. And I'm learning that firsthand too, that they truly mean what they say when they believe in hiring within. So even though right now I'm in the process of trying to transfer, yes, I want to transfer to another terminal. That's for another video. But to sum it up, I basically want to be a little closer to home. So since I've been at this terminal, that position at this particular terminal I'm trying to go to has opened up. I think maybe once or twice. I didn't get it the first time. A P&D driver, I think, ended up getting it. And I called the terminal engineer there, and he told me straight up, he's like, listen, if none of my P&D guys here want it, then I'll offer it to you. So even though I'm already line haul, I still gotta, wait if those guys down there want it. So I ain't gonna drag this out, y'all, but the overall point of this video is don't be afraid to do something you don't want to do to get to where you want to get to. All right? As I always tell y'all, thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to all my new subscribers, my day ones. I appreciate all of y'all. And as I always tell y'all, y'all take it easy and y'all stay safe.